Stepping back is not a sign of weakness. It is a declaration of strength. In a world that constantly demands our reaction, stepping back is a deliberate act of reclaiming control over our energy and focus. It allows us to pause, breathe, and observe situations from a distance, providing a clarity that is often lost in the heat of the moment. This distance gives us the ability to shift our perspective, to see the patterns in our lives and the roles we unconsciously play. It's in this space that we begin to realize that many of the battles we fight are not ours to win, but rather lessons for us to learn. When we step back, we interrupt the habitual cycle of reaction that keeps us trapped. Think about how often we feel compelled to respond immediately, whether to a sharp comment, a challenging situation, or a moment of conflict. By stepping back, we disrupt this cycle and regain control. It's not about avoiding responsibility, it's about choosing a higher response, one that aligns with our inner peace rather than our fleeting emotions. This act of stepping back is deeply connected to the teachings of self-mastery. When we consciously create space between ourselves and the external world, we reclaim our power. We stop feeding the energy of negativity or chaos, and instead, we direct our focus inward. Denzel Washington teaches that our reality is shaped by our thoughts, emotions, and energy. By stepping back, we create an opportunity to recalibrate our inner state, to align with the version of ourselves that we want to embody. People often misunderstand silence as indifference, but it is far more profound. Silence, when paired with the act of stepping back, speaks volumes. It communicates self-respect, emotional intelligence, and a refusal to engage in unproductive energy. It allows others to reflect on their actions and often to seek reconciliation. This is the paradox of stepping back. By removing yourself from the chaos, you invite others to come closer, to meet you where you are. Stepping back is not about retreating. It's about creating space for clarity, growth, and intentional action. In that space, we find our true strength, and often others will recognize it too. Sometimes, silence speaks louder than words, and absence carries a presence all its own. Silence is often misunderstood in a world that equates noise with action and response with power. Yet silence is one of the greatest strengths we can cultivate. It is not merely the absence of words, but the presence of control, intention, and awareness. When we choose silence, especially in moments when the urge to speak or react is overwhelming, we demonstrate an extraordinary mastery over ourselves. It's a choice that says, I am not controlled by this situation. I choose peace over chaos, presence over impulsivity. Silence creates space for us to reflect, to understand, and to decide our next move with clarity and purpose. In the heat of an argument or the midst of conflict, words often become weapons, wielded without thought, leaving wounds that take far longer to heal than the moment that created them. Choosing silence is not about suppressing our voice, but about preserving our energy. It's about recognizing that not every situation requires a response, and that sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is hold our peace. This kind of silence is not passive, it is active. It's a deliberate act of disengaging from negativity and aligning with the higher version of ourselves. It gives us the opportunity to shift from reacting emotionally to responding intentionally. Joe Dispenza emphasizes the importance of controlling our energy and thoughts to create the reality we desire. When we remain silent, we avoid scattering our energy in unproductive ways. Instead, we channel it inward, nurturing our strength and self-awareness. The impact of silence is not limited to ourselves. It affects those around us as well. Silence unsettles those who expect an immediate reaction. It compels others to confront their own behavior and reflect on their actions. When we stop feeding the cycle of conflict with our words, we break the momentum of negativity. In doing so, we create an opportunity for resolution, often without needing to speak at all. Silence allows us to reclaim our narrative, to decide what energy we give and what we withhold. It's a profound declaration of self-respect and emotional maturity. In choosing silence, we embody a quiet confidence that speaks louder than any words ever could. Sometimes, the most meaningful power lies in what is left unsaid. Absence has a unique way of capturing attention. When we step back and remove ourselves from the constant push and pull of interactions, something remarkable happens. People begin to notice what was once taken for granted suddenly becomes valued, and the space we create becomes a magnet for curiosity and reflection. This is the magnetic effect of absence, a subtle but powerful shift that often brings others closer without us needing to force it. Human nature is wired to respond to scarcity. When something or someone becomes less accessible, the mind begins to focus on it more. This is not manipulation, it's a natural psychological response. By stepping back, we interrupt the pattern of constant availability. We give others the opportunity to miss us, to realize our value, and to reflect on the connection they may have overlooked. It's in our absence that the true weight of our presence is often felt. This principle works on both personal and energetic levels. Energetically, when we step back, we stop feeding the dynamic with unnecessary reactions or emotional entanglement. Denzel Washington teaches that energy flows where attention goes. When we withdraw our attention from negativity, conflict, or imbalance, we disrupt the cycle and create space for something better to emerge. This shift in energy often draws others toward us as they begin to feel the void we've left behind. But this is not about playing games or manipulating outcomes. It's about respecting ourselves enough to disengage from situations or relationships that no longer serve us. By doing so, we demonstrate self-worth and set an example of how we deserve to be treated. People are drawn to those who know their value, and this quiet confidence speaks louder than words or actions ever could. When we create space, we allow others the freedom to choose their response. Often they'll feel the pull to reconnect, to understand, or even to seek our approval. This is the paradox of absence. By stepping away, we invite others to come closer on terms that are healthier and more aligned with our values. Absence is not about abandoning, it's about recalibrating. It's a quiet yet powerful way to shift dynamics and inspire meaningful change. When we step back, we give others the chance to truly see us. And often they'll realize they don't want to lose us. Breaking the cycle of neediness is one of the most liberating acts we can undertake. Neediness stems from a place of lack, a belief that we require something external to complete us, validate us, or give us worth. This mindset keeps us tethered to unhealthy dynamics and reactive behaviors. But when we step back and embrace silence, we disrupt this cycle. We reclaim our power by shifting the focus from what we lack to the abundance that already exists within us. When we are needy, we unconsciously give others control over our emotions and self-esteem. Every reaction, every desperate attempt to seek attention or approval reinforces the idea that our happiness is dependent on something outside of ourselves. This creates a loop of dependency where our sense of self becomes tied to external validation. By stepping back, we break free from this loop. We send a message to ourselves and others that we are whole, regardless of external circumstances. This act of detachment is not about rejecting others, it's about rediscovering our own value. Denzel Washington teaches that we create our reality by aligning our inner state with the life we want to live. When we step out of the energy of neediness and into the energy of self-assurance, we shift our entire vibration. We begin to attract relationships and situations that reflect our newfound sense of worth. Silence plays a crucial role in this transformation. When we stop chasing, stop explaining, and stop reacting, we give ourselves the space to reconnect with our true selves. In that stillness, we discover that we are enough just as we are. This realization is profoundly empowering. It allows us to engage with others from a place of confidence rather than insecurity, fostering healthier, more balanced connections. What's remarkable is how others respond to this shift. When we stop needing them to fill our voids, they begin to see us differently. They're drawn to the energy of self-assurance and independence, because it's rare and magnetic. By breaking the cycle of neediness, we not only transform ourselves, but also inspire others to do the same. Gratitude. True freedom lies in realizing that we are complete, and everything else is a reflection of the relationship we have with ourselves. Cultivating inner peace and patience is one of the most powerful steps we can take toward true self-mastery. In a world that thrives on urgency and constant reaction, choosing calm over chaos is a radical act. Patience is not simply the ability to wait, it's the ability to trust in the process, to remain composed even when the outcome isn't immediately clear. Inner peace, similarly, is not about avoiding challenges, but about finding balance and stability within ourselves, no matter what is happening around us. So, when we step back and stay silent, we are exercising both patience and peace. It's a practice of releasing control over what we cannot change and focusing instead on our inner world. This requires a deep trust in the process of life and in ourselves. Denzel Washington emphasizes the importance of aligning our thoughts, emotions, and energy with the outcomes we desire. Impatience often scatters this energy, creating resistance instead of flow. By cultivating patience, we align with the natural rhythm of life, allowing things to unfold in their own time. Inner peace begins when we stop fighting battles that aren't ours to win. It's the realization that not every situation requires our intervention, not every comment demands a response, and not every storm needs to be weathered in the same way. When we stay silent in moments of tension, we conserve our energy and maintain our focus on what truly matters. Silence becomes a form of self-respect, a way to honor our emotional well-being by refusing to engage in unnecessary drama or conflict. Patience is also an act of faith in ourselves, in our intentions, and in the power of stillness. When we are patient, we send a message to the universe that we trust the process, that we believe in the timing of our journey. This trust creates a sense of calm that radiates outward, influencing not only our own energy, but also the dynamics of those around us. As we cultivate inner peace and patience, we step into a place of unshakable strength. We become less reactive, more intentional, and ultimately more aligned with the life we wish to create. This quiet confidence allows us to navigate even the most challenging situations with grace, reminding us that true power lies not in control, but in trust. When others return after you've stepped back, stayed silent, and held your ground, the moment holds a profound opportunity. Their return is not simply a chance to reconnect. It is an invitation to reassess, to redefine boundaries, and to ensure that any interaction moving forward aligns with your values and intentions. It is in this moment that your silence and absence reveal their full power, for they have shifted the dynamic, compelling others to see you in a new light. Handling this return requires intentionality. Just as stepping back was an act of self-respect, so too must your response be guided by that same principle. When someone seeks to re-enter your space, pause before responding. Reflect on the dynamics that led to your initial withdrawal. Were they marked by conflict, imbalance, or a lack of respect? These questions help you determine whether reconnection is truly in your best interest. Denzel Washington teaches that our external experiences mirror our internal state. When you stepped back, it wasn't simply to create distance, it was to realign with your own energy, your own sense of self-worth. By the time others return, you've likely grown, shifted, and strengthened. This growth places you in a position of power, not to dominate or control, but to engage from a place of confidence and clarity. You have the experience now to be present when those kinds of experiences come up. Reconnection should not mean returning to old patterns. If someone approaches you with the same energy that caused you to step back in the first place, it's a sign to maintain your boundaries. Silence and absence are only powerful if they lead to change, not just in the other person, but within yourself. When they return, make sure they meet you at the level of respect and understanding you now demand. This isn't about shutting others out. It's about inviting them into a healthier, more balanced dynamic. When you engage, speak with intention. Let your actions and words reflect the growth you've achieved. If the connection is to be rebuilt, let it be on terms that honor your growth and align with the person you've become. Ultimately, their return is not about them, it's about you. It's about standing firm in the strength you've cultivated, ensuring that every interaction moving forward reflects the value you've always had, even if it took stepping back for them to see it.